Okay, let's just dive right in today with a pretty serious paradox.
Hmm.
Why are we as a species grappling with what some researchers are calling the number one health crisis on the planet?
Right.
And yet, the conversation around a surprisingly simple solution
Yep.
is, well, it's almost silent.
Well, I think it's the sheer scale of the problem that just shocks people.
Yeah.
When we talk about health trends, we usually fixate on, say, heart disease or cancer,
The big ones.
the big ones. But the data we've looked at, the longitudinal data, it suggests that autoimmune diseases, so things like MS, Crohn's, type 1
Well,
diabetes,
Hashimoto's, celiac.
all of them, the incidence rate has tripled in the last 40 years. It's an epidemic of friendly fire.
Yeah.
The trend line is basically
Look,
vertical.
tripled. That's
Yeah.
not just a little shift, that is an absolute explosion.
It is.
So that's our mission today. We are going to dive into what's going on, this core mistake our bodies are making, and we're going to try and find that common thread running through all these conditions and figure out why the standard, very expensive treatment feels a bit like using a wrecking ball when maybe all we needed was a precision screwdriver.
That's a great way to put it. To really get why the body turns traitor, you have to understand the immune system's basic job.
Okay.
Think of it like a huge security corporation inside you.
Yeah.
Its main directive is simple.
Yeah.
Tell the difference between self, your own cells, and non-self.
The bad guys, viruses, pathogens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The bouncers at the door.
Yeah.
And this security detail has two major branches.
Right.
You've got the innate system. That's the basic security you're born with. They're fast, they react instantly, but they have no memory, and they get a bit weaker with age.
The old guard.
The old guard.
Yeah.
Then you have the acquired system. This is your special forces unit,
The smart team.
the very smart team. They're slower to kick in, but they learn, they adapt, they remember every single attack, and, ideally, they get stronger over your lifetime.
Okay, so if the acquired system is the advanced team with the memory, surely it has some kind of kill switch, right? A way to stop the attack once the threat is gone. How is that friendly fire, that autoimmune reaction, normally prevented?
And that is the absolute crucial point. The problem isn't the innate system, the basic guards.
No.
It's the acquired system getting confused. And the job of stopping this internal civil war, it belongs to one group of cells, the
Yeah.
regulatory T cells.
T-regs.
Tregs. They are the mediators, the internal affairs unit. Their only job is to say, okay, fight's over, everybody stand down.
So in autoimmune diseases, the soldiers are just running wild because the referee walked off the field.
That's it, precisely. In these conditions, the Tregs are either low in number or they're just not effective.
Yeah.
And without those peacemakers, two specific inflammatory cells.
Ah, these are the troublemakers.
These are the troublemakers,
Right.
Th1 and Th17. They're allowed to run absolutely rampant.
All right, Th1 and Th17, we hear about those a lot. What are they actually doing that's so bad?
Well, they're the inflammatory specialists. Th1 cells, they handle cellular defense. So they're critical when you have a virus.
But terrible when they're pointed at your own thyroid.
Exactly. And Th17, it drives this really intense inflammation in mucosal tissues, which is why we see it so often in things like Crohn's or psoriasis.
So they're necessary, but without the Tregs.
They burn down the entire village just to save it.
Right. So we've got this massive security breakdown. The mediators are gone. The fire is spreading, which leads us to the conventional approach. What happens when you go to the doctor with all this inflammation?
Often, you get a drug like prednisone,
Mm-hmm.
and it is incredibly powerful. It's a synthetic version of cortisol, your stress hormone. It works fast, but its method is, well, we have to call it a scorched earth policy.
That's the canon we talked about. You're not trying to fix the system. You're just shutting it all down.
All of it. It suppresses both the innate system and the acquired system. It's like dropping a nuclear bomb when all you need to do is turn down the radio.
And the side effects, that's the real problem, isn't it?
The side effects are disastrous long-term.
Because these drugs, they raise your blood glucose, right? So you're increasing your risk for diabetes.
Yep. And they cause the breakdown of bone, which can lead straight to osteoporosis.
So you solve one problem by creating two new massive ones.
You do. Now let's pivot to the mediator the data keeps pointing us to, vitamin D.
Okay.
And this is where the contrast is it's fascinating. Vitamin D doesn't suppress the immune system. It supports it, it enhances it, but through precision regulation.
So instead of hitting the global shutdown button, what is it actually doing?
It's acting like a targeted regulator. It shifts the entire balance by actively increasing the number of those peacemakers we talked about,
The Tregs.
the Tregs.
Oh.
It brings the internal affairs unit back onto the field. And at the same time, it actively suppresses those inflammatory troublemakers, the Th1 and Th17 factors.
That's a completely different philosophy. And the side effects of D sound more like unexpected benefits.
They are. They absolutely are. Where prednisone creates blood sugar chaos and bone loss, vitamin D actually enhances the cells that make insulin.
So it helps with blood sugar.
And of course, it supports bone mineralization. It basically corrects the very problems the conventional strategy creates. It's elegant.
And then there's the link to aging, which is just huge.
It really is. I mean, our immune system naturally gets weaker because of the thymus gland.
Right, that's the little gland on top of your heart, the T cell factory.
Exactly. And that factory, it sort of shrivels up as we get older. Production slows way down.
And vitamin D keeps the lights on a bit longer.
The research indicates that adequate vitamin D can actually slow down that process, that shrinkage of the thymus. It helps keep the T cell factory open for business, which is a massive advantage if your main problem is a lack of effective Tregs.
Okay, that is huge. Now let's layer on top of that the strange geographical puzzle.
Yes.
The sources all point to this bizarre, almost undeniable link between where you live and your risk.
It's like the planet is screaming a clue at us. The closer you live to the equator, where you get consistent, intense sunlight,
The lower your risk.
the lower your likelihood of developing conditions like MS, type 1 diabetes, Crohn's. The correlation is just incredibly strong across the board.
It's almost funny. The solution is literally shining down on us, and we're reaching for the $10,000 a year medication first.
We are?
And here is the essential ticker, isn't it? This benefit, it's not coming from the microscopic dose listed on the side of a milk carton.
Oh, absolutely not. Not even close. This requires what we call therapeutic doses,
Why? What's the difference?
because vitamin D is doing two fundamentally different jobs in the body,
Mhm.
and they require two totally different levels of saturation.
Okay.
The standard RDA, the recommended daily allowance, that was set decades ago, purely to prevent rickets. That's it. It only addresses the first job, the bone and calcium system.
So what does the immune system need that the bones don't?
The immune system uses vitamin D not just as a vitamin, but as a steroid hormone. It's a high-level gene regulator. It's going into the T cells and changing how their DNA is expressed.
It's giving new orders.
It's giving new orders. And that kind of hormonal job requires a much higher, consistent daily level to actually work. You can't power a supercomputer with a watch battery.
And of course, D isn't a lone wolf in this. It needs a crew.
It absolutely needs a crew, a team effort. For D to work properly, you have to have the cofactors:
Magnesium.
magnesium, vitamin K2, and zinc. Without those three, you can take all the vitamin D in the world, and your body just can't use it effectively to empower those Tregs.
All right, let's address the elephant in the room here. The politics and the money. If this is so powerful, so well supported by the data, and so cheap, why isn't it the first line of defense everywhere?
Well, the cynical answer, which is also probably the most relevant one, is that there is just no profit in a remedy that's free, like sunlight.
Or extremely cheap, like a supplement.
Exactly. There's a documented reluctance, and you can see it in the research funding, to publish these positive vitamin D studies that might, compete with very profitable patented drugs.
So wait, are we saying the system is just ignoring decades of data because D is cheap? I mean, where are the checks and balances on that?
I don't think it's necessarily a smoky backroom conspiracy. It's more of an economic inevitability. If the dose you need is way higher than the official RDA, it threatens the entire business model for chronic disease.
And then they compound that with the fear factor. Yes, the old high amounts of vitamin D are toxic line.
Exactly. It's a classic fear-mongering tactic. And it intentionally confuses a therapeutic dose, what your immune system needs to regulate itself, with actual clinical toxicity, which, by the way, is incredibly rare and requires huge doses over long periods of time.
And some doctors aren't waiting around for the establishment to catch up. They're already using these higher doses, right? Like that Coimbra protocol out of Brazil.
Yeah, that protocol is a fantastic real-world example. It's using D as a hormonal regulator. It's very personalized. But the principle is they slowly increase the vitamin D dose until a specific blood test.
Parathyroid hormone.
Parathyroid hormone, right, until that hormone drops to a low normal level. And that's the signal. That tells them the D is finally penetrating the cellular resistance and doing its job.
Which brings us right back to where we started. The problem isn't an immune system that's too strong. The problem is that the peacemakers, the Tregs, are overwhelmed.
That's it.
And the solution isn't to just drop a bomb on everything, but to use the subtle, natural regulator that our bodies are designed to get from the sun.
You now have a framework, a way to understand one of the fastest growing health crises through a new lens, one that looks beyond just suppressing symptoms and, starts looking at targeted self-correction.
So here's the thought I want to leave you with. If one of the most profound solutions for a global health crisis is literally free, shining down from the sky, what other simple, essential truths are being quietly shelved because they just don't make anyone a profit? What would actually happen if we stopped resorting to the scorched earth policy and, for once, prioritized empowering the peacemakers